Hi, and welcome to the Stockinette Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as J Nitma.
And I'm Megan Williams, times 2. And this is episode 8, December 13th.
Yeah.
And I'm getting the emails now about the 12 days of Christmas. Are you getting those? Or I mean, just like, there's promotions about, there only being 12 more days till Christmas.
Okay. Yeah.
12 days of Christmas, my true love came to me.
Although I was told that the 12 days of Christmas starts on Christmas Day. By somebody, Plurk or Facebook or something.
Somebody that knew better than me.
Or the retailers.
True enough, yeah. I'm happy. I'll be happy when all of that commercialism is over. Although some good deals are to be had. So.
Yes, too many. Find myself like this top. I really like this top from the Gap, and I had a different color on one of our previous episodes. Might even have been last week, and they had another really good sale, and so I picked up another one because I could. And it's like, well, if I buy it, later, it's just gonna be full price, or I don't know. Excuses.
Yep. Yeah, there's all kinds of justifications.
Uh-huh.
All right, we got a lot of Ministrivia today, and I think we both have a lot of finished objects to share, so let's just get right into it. I wanted to mention that we had an honorable mention out on the Simply Notable blog, which is a blog that I frequent, by Julie Q, spelled Juleeqee, and she's a Stockinette Zombie as well. She joined us out in the group. And she said we were one of her top
5, wasn't it?
Yeah,
or 6?
Top 5 podcasts that she watched, and
video podcasts.
Yeah. Yep. So thank you very much, Julie. I appreciate. I love reading your blog. I don't know which one came first, whether or not you joined the group and then I found your blog, or you. I read your blog and then you found us. But either way, thank you very much for the honorable mention. The other thing that I was going to mention that I thought was really hysterical was Kismet, which is Susan, is her name, Kismet, a.k.a. Kismet, with a Z, Kismet. Can I say Kismet any more times? Kismet. She mentioned that she thought a half of a finished object, so like our socks, was a half-o. A half-o. And I thought that was so funny because it's kind of got a double, triple entendre there.
I know. I like it. It's a hoe. I got another hoe done.
So I don't know if that's popular out in the knitting community or if that's just something that Susan made up, but it was hysterical to me.
Yes, I like the HO. Yeah. I will start showing my HOs.
Where my hoes at?
Exactly.
Another administrative thing. We cut the vote off, and thank you all for indulging us in our our vote.
It did skew quite a bit after our podcast.
It did. All of a sudden there was like over 50 for a cardigan. So thank you all for indulging us, and we'll be doing the cardigan. And I've had several questions via private message about, I've already done one of those, or it doesn't look good on me, or I'm cold sheeping, which is a new term that I'd never heard of. So we've got the hoe, and cold sheeping is like going cold turkey. They're not buying any fiber until they didn't have quantities
enough
of Yep. So the shalom is what Amy and I have decided we are going to do because we've always wanted to do it. But I listed some other free bulky cardigans out there. And so if, another one trips your trigger, if a fingering weight cardigan trips your trigger,
go for it.
Feel free to try to get it done in the January to February time frame. And so I opened a Chatter Please thread out there. And then as we get closer and have more of the details, we'll put a finished object, no chatter thread out there. which leads to we're going to have a Pre-KAL, which I kind of think of as like a prequel, a Pre-KAL giveaway of the Rowan Cork in the sour colorway.
Yeah, Megan calculated that we only needed a half of what she had, so for two of us.
Yeah. So
half.
I'm gonna hedge my bets and say, for you out there, you will need 6 of them at the most. Right. But if you can make a case for, I went out and looked and somebody else did it and used more than that for my size, I think I'll still have some left over after that 6 and after what we've done. So I'll open up a thread after I post this, and 1 entry per person, hopefully, or must be a member of the group, and we'll probably draw for it next week because we will want to get it into the mail.
Right, so you can start with us.
Yes, you can start with us. And I think I may be alluding to something incorrectly here, but Amy and I decided that we're going to try to race. Not race. But
not each other.
Yeah, but
it's more of a, if you want to be competitive, you can try and beat Megan to the finish line.
Yes. And there'll be badges for those that that beat me.
Yes, just honorable mention type of things. And then a finisher's badge, of course. And then I will try to be the pacer. I will try to complete mine in the whole 2 months. So if you feel like you're behind, you can kind of just check my status. I'll try and post something weekly, or maybe just show it on the podcast for sure. Like, okay, I got this much progress done, but I'm going to try and pace myself for the 2 months. Shouldn't be hard. I have so many things on the needles.
Because I was looking at other projects out there, like that was my data mining fun for the last couple of days. And there are some people that finished it in like 2 days. Like, I had a movie marathon, and I said that was all I was knitting, and voila.
Okay.
So
not gonna be me.
Yeah. Well, it could be me, but we'll see. Maybe I'll sandbag a little bit too, just so folks have a fighting chance.
Yeah, she'll start a hat as well, just so that she can have something else going. Or
some socks. Socks seem to sit on my needles a little bit longer than other projects.
So we'll have that, and then probably an overall giveaway once the FO thread closes.
Yep.
Again, details that will be sorted out and be part of the thread when we're ready.
But it's almost January. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed because I'm not going to have time to start another thing before. I mean, I could start anything, but I mean another sweater before that sweater. So I was like, oh, because I'm itching to start another sweater.
Mm-hmm. But you're not excited about the shalom?
I am, but I can't start it right now. I have to wait until January, and that's the problem.
Which is true. You are right.
So, yes, my startitis, I'll have to just keep it at bay until January 1st, and then I'll cast on real quick.
And then the other thing is my birthday is in January, and I've had several people PM me about wanting to do a meetup, and I can think of nothing better to celebrate my birthday than to meet some of you folks out there that I've not met, go to a yarn shop, possibly eat something decadent like cake. So I'm currently looking and am open to suggestions. I contacted Christina Knits about the Knitter's Palette to see whether or not she thought that would be a good place to do one. But it's probably not going to be my actual birthday, which is January 7th, and it's Bauer Knits' birthday as well, and it's a couple other people's birthdays.
Is it Bowerbird?
Bowerbird, you're right.
Okay.
Bowerbird, and I have the other person's name right on the top of my head. Anyway, it's probably not going to be that literal day. It'll probably be like the 14th or the 21st, because those are Saturdays. Okay. But we'll again, more details. Just a teaser for all y'all out there that are just chomping at the bit to meet Meg Tilley here.
She's a star.
Yes, as are you, Amy. As are you. And I think that's all that I had as far as administrivia.
Okay.
I believe. Yep.
Okay. Good. That was a
first,
lot.
First 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. We got quite a bit of announcements there.
Yeah, well, I'm a planner.
No, it was
Put things together. So.
Oh, it's good. I like that we've got our KAL situated and we can just get going on that. But I will put my knitting down and start showing my finished objects.
FOs, not hose.
Yes, I have two socks, and they are finished and will be going to my stepfather soon. Probably going to be in person.
Yeah, you
Don't
finished
need
your
to know.
ruby slippers too, right?
Yes, I finished my ruby slippers for my grandmother. And she loves them. She wore them all day that day. They fit. That was great. And then this is my random act of kindness for Nerd Wars. I am going to just probably give this to our NICU in town. But I'm trying to decide. They need proof of the gifting part of it, and I'm not sure what I want to do because my daughter's birthday, she spent some time in the NICU. So her birthday is in January. So I was wanting to kind of hold off and then maybe knit a few more and do it with her in her birthday month. But I know that you need proof, so I'm kind of like, or I could donate some money and give that kind of proof to, I don't know. But I did knit this specifically for the random acts of kindness. Maybe I can put it in a bubble mailer and just have it addressed to the NICU and ready to go, and then maybe I can add some more things to it before Miss Ma'am's birthday.
That's just a seed stitch.
Yeah, it's kind of what I made up, and on my projects page I tried to tell people what I did, but I am a horrible pattern writer, so it's like, oh, cast on 70, do rib for 2x2 rib for almost an inch, then go to seed stitch all the way up. But you'll notice that when you cast on 70, a 2x2 rib ends with two things there, so you get a nice little detail that runs up, a little cable. So it was just fly by the seat of my pants. Same with the decreasing. It's kind of why it looks a little bubbly at the top, but I think it'll look very cute on a baby.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about that. And then my third finished object, which I just finished, there's a ball in here just to show you, but this is for my bean pot. It's a little round teapot, and it's teeny tiny little round teapot. So the ball kind of fits as a substitute for that, since pottery doesn't tend to travel well. So I made it, again, another fly by the seat of my pants sort of thing. It's just a ribbing shell. It's got a hole for the handle, a hole for the spout. Tip me over and pour me out.
And is that Rios?
No, this isn't Rios. This is some of the worsted leftover. So you're right, it's Malabrigo. But yeah, it's my Mal worsted from a while back. Actually, that could be my tie-in. It's Mal worsted. Yes. Aha. I was thinking, how am I going to tie this in? I know that the shepherd drinks tea, so he could use a tea cozy, but then it's red and pink, so would the shepherd need a red and pink tea cozy? And then, yeah, so it's out of Mal.
Yeah.
Which is very appropriate for my Nerd Wars. And I think that was it for the actual FOs that I can show you. Like I said, I did get one more done, but I can't show you because Grandma's wearing them.
But that sounds wonderful that she was wearing them. And you said, and they fit well? You said you had cast off a little tight. Or bound off, sorry.
I did rip that back 2 directions. So I followed the pattern. Basically, it kept feeling like it was loose, and then I altered it. But then when I finally bound off, it seemed tight. So I went back to the original directions, and did it like she had said, and it worked out. Awesome. When you bind off, it does tighten up enough that you can get what needs to happen. And she said they fit perfectly, although she claims to be a size 11, and they fit me at a size 9.5. So maybe it's just a very flexible pattern.
Yeah.
So it fit a nice range of sizes, probably 9 to 11.
Okay. Cool.
And that's it.
All right, my finished objects are, I finished my cowl from last week. Yeah, it's it didn't end up
like a headband though.
Yeah, it didn't end up being very wide. I didn't take into account that it's very smushy, right? It's very thick. All the slip stitches make it so that it kind of comes back on it to itself versus being so. It's I don't know. I like it because I can kind of hide in it, and it's not going to be mine, or I can wear it as a headband. So it's kind of dual purpose. And if somebody had a little bigger head, which I kind of have a small head compared to some of the folks in my life, they would be able to use it as both as well. So I finished that and the leftovers. And then I finished my other slide sock. So I've now got 2 of them. Do you want to put one on your arm?
Sure.
Well, I was just going to show that one is very much a lefty, and this one is very much a righty. So they go zoop, zoop. And my husband loves them. In fact, this morning he was like, "Where did those socks go?"
Giant feet.
Yes, they are very, very big. And I was on fumes. Like, I literally had one sock finished, and then I had to go back and take a few rows out so that I could, and then I ended up with 2 at a time.
Oh, I see.
So that I could split what I had left to make these toe. And it's a little boxier than I would like. Do you see that?
Yeah, I do.
But it fits his foot. And I'm like, does it bother you that it's a little box? No, I don't. Until you said something, it didn't really bother him at all, the toe, but it looks a little boxy for my taste. I would have started decreasing a little sooner, but it fits him like a glove and he's happy with it. So
fumes, I hate when that happens. I had a Ravelry emergency several years ago. I was making a sock for my stepdad, and I was on fumes, and I ended up needing enough yarn for the toe.
Yeah.
And luckily somebody out there was generous. They sent me the whole skein. I used what I needed, and then I sent the whole thing back to her.
Wow.
So that was amazing.
Ravelry to the rescue.
I know. And it was even a discontinued dyer and everything. So,
wow.
You know, it's some rare stuff, and it was nice
I
stuff.
thought about, like, possibly using a different colorway just to do the toe, and I'm like, but I don't like that. And then I didn't want a whole nother skein just for the toe.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't have any other manly colors
in my
giant
soulmate repertoire.
Yeah.
So it worked out well. I mean, it fit him.
I don't have to worry about that, or at least I haven't yet. I mean, that one was the one I was doing was sport weight, and that was kind of the issue. Is like, I hadn't planned on sport weight, and it was top down, so I had, gotten down to the toes just like you, and I was like, I can't.
Yeah, and it reminded me of why I love doing toe up, because it was like it wouldn't have mattered to have it be that much more shorter at the top, up at the hem, although he does like longer socks, but you don't know that until the very end with toes, and it's like, well, toe isn't really optional.
Well, now you kind of know, like, okay, I need a little bit bigger skein for my husband's socks.
Yeah.
They need to be a little bit
and I had weighed it and everything. Like, I knew what the weight of the skein was. I knew that it had used almost exactly half of the skein, and I thought I was going to make it. And yeah, it's just, do you know that feeling where you just keep knitting and you're like, you just keep on seeing it dwindle and you keep thinking, I really hope it makes it. And then you knit a few more rows and you're like, it really doesn't look like I'm going to make it. And then a few more rows and you're like, finally, man. So yeah, I had a sock emergency where I had to rip out a existing toe and split the amount of yarn that I had over the two. So crisis averted.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
I thought that I would mention just now, because I hear them, the helicopter that goes to the hospital. Hopefully everybody's okay.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing. It's like if you're on Mayo 1, you're really not well.
Yeah.
So,
but we've been hearing the helicopter, and with the enhanced audio that Megan's been doing, you'll be hearing it more. And
so it doesn't even register with me. It's like I live in Vietnam, it's like Saigon to me, because the hospital is just right over there, and in the winter I hardly hear it at all because the windows are closed, but in the summer when the windows are open, it's a lot more noticeable.
Hey, a chopper's landing in my backyard.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much true. I mean, right over there.
Yep.
Let's see.
So if you're in the area and you want to see on a Tuesday night a live airing of this, the front window is open. Just drive around and look for two women talking at a into the huge front window of a house, Buttoneer, Mayo.
That was a lot of clues, wasn't it?
It was.
Sorry.
It was. No. Anybody is welcome. You can come over and say hello.
Are we at FOs? Whips.
Yes.
I started my sparkly socks.
Your neon cat?
Yep, my neon cat. So this is my contrasting color. And I am doing the ampersand socks. Kristen Kapoor.
For SSK, right?
Yep, for SSK. They have to be done by mid-January. And hope that I can get 2 socks done in a month, because I haven't tried that in a while. I really haven't. I just kind of cast them on, and when they get done, they get done. I haven't really tried to do socks in a KAL in a long time. And they gave us 6 weeks, but I only started them just now, so I don't have time. And then the other stuff, I'm working on another sock. This is for my son. I think we saw a toe pick last time, but it's a little bit more.
I really like those colors.
I know. I was like, this is Claudia hand paints. And I just, every time I see anything that I've made by her yarn, I need more of this. Why don't I have more of this in my stash? But I did think about it, and I do have 2 more, enough to make 2 more pairs of socks. So I'm not going to get too crazy and go out and buy more, but I love it. And my other ones, the ones I made for me, wore like iron. I mean, they're still going strong. So I am enjoying knitting with it. The colors are knitting up really cool. And this is at the gusset, toe up gusset part. So I'm getting very close to turning, and
you're increasing?
Increasing on the one side. I'm using kind of a formula, kind of not. I knew how many stitches I needed to cast on to get the size I needed for his foot. So I just started at the toe, increased until I got there, and then read Wendy Johnson's toe up socks for everybody until I found one that was close to the stitch count. It's not exact, but it gave me kind of a formula to follow. So again, winging it. But this time I'm going to have to make careful notes, because I didn't on the stepdad socks, and
hard to make the second one.
It really was. I had to rip it back a couple times. Ugh, it was not good. But it's done now, and the yarn is over. I'm not buying trekking again. I'm sorry. For people who love it, that hurt my hands. And it might have been that it was the Natura with bamboo and whatnot in it instead of just their regular trekking. Because I've worked on shawls with the trekking before, and it never bothered me. But that tight gauge to get for socks, because it's already a kind of thinnish fingering weight, and it was not a happy knitting experience when I had to rip back. I was just like, sometimes when I rip back socks, I'm like, oh well, it's part of the process, and I move on because I enjoy the yarn. But on these, every time, a sigh. Oh, no, I don't want to do that again. And I'm just going to say that if anybody wants to see any other whips that I'm working on, want me to drag them back out, chances are I've worked 1 row, maybe 2, because most of my objects are usually a constant. I pick it, it's lonely, and I bring it out and I knit a couple rows on it, and then I put it back. And you might have seen it once and been like, hey, did she ever finish that? Whatever happened to that? Just ask me to bring it back. I'm sure it's just sitting in a pile at home waiting for me to get some time or mojo to work on it again. Because some of these sweaters that have just been languishing for almost a year, it's just a matter of getting the mojo, like I said. So if you're wondering, like, oh, she showed us that and we haven't seen it again, it's probably still in a pile waiting for me to get to it, and maybe just the request to see it again will give it some mojo. and get it to the finish line. And I've been posting to the Dramatic Knits to the finish line post because I guess he advertised it again, and I was like, you know what? You asked for it. So I've had a lot of FOs
last month I didn't do like as I went. I didn't add them, and so like I had the block from 83 to 90 something, like because I just kept okay, yep, I did that one in November. Oh, yep, I did that one in November, and I was like, why did I do that? I probably have a better probability of.
I don't know, getting a chunk would be kind of nice, right? You get a good chunk, then maybe.
Yeah, root for my chunk.
Yeah, it's a bigger target, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would have rather had like one in the 10s and one in the 20s and one in the 40s and one in the, I don't know.
Well, the person in me, I don't enter a lot of contests, so thus I don't win them. So I just decided, hey, yeah, he mentioned that. I'm going to go out and I'm going to grab those pictures and put them out there so that I can possibly win. I mean, how many times I've probably qualified to enter some of these things and I just didn't. Speaking of which, I did enter my Goodale on the Loopy site, but with the move and stuff, I don't know that they're going to inform me anytime soon about whether I made it.
Every once in a while I go out and look at my account and see whether or not they've entered my picture into the gallery. But yeah, they seem like they're really busy.
Mm-hmm. Well, the move will do that too,
Yeah.
And having new employees.
Yep.
But I'm hoping that everything got accounted for, and I didn't put an order number, but I did select my yarn from the list of yarns that I used, so that's kind of connected to my order somehow, because it populated. But that's it for FOs. I mean, whips. I keep calling them FOs.
You're obsessed with that half O, I think. The O. You like the FO. FO. I am working on, and I'm going to hold up the pattern because I think it's a really cute on the front, a thistle cap.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Yeah, and so it's feministy.com. I read her blog, and Liz Abernathy. Again, I'm horrible with names. Yes, Liz. She, they're having a knit along, and the pattern is only free until the 27th of December.
Oh, okay.
So, if you are interested in making this very cute thistle hat, go out and download it to your library in Ravelry while it's still free. I don't know that you necessarily have to participate in the knit along, but get it in your library while it's free. Get it while the getting's good. And I'm almost to the end here. I kept the 7s throughout, thinking maybe I would make it for a littler person's head, such as myself, but it's real tight. Here, I'll put it on me even, so I think it might have to be for a littler person. So I kept the 7s that were the ribbing throughout, and maybe should have went up to the 8s because the cabling is a little tight, and I'm cabling it without a cable needle. Which I learned when I did the Cool House hats back in 2008 now? 2009, can't remember. So that is my current whip, and then up next, just got like a pile of stuff over here. I'm going to make a gemstone, which is very cute, and this pattern by copyright Crystal Nihul. Again, we'll provide the link, so I don't really need to pronounce it correctly. It was like separated at birth with Rath Cooney.
Oh.
Have you seen that pattern, Rath Cooney by Carol Feller? I mean, they're exact. I mean, I looked out and went out and looked, and like, I think because I have that book, even the little hubs in here that make the gemstone, that stitch pattern, I think is almost exactly the same. So, very cute hat. I think I'm going to be making one of those, and using the free gemstone pattern rather than the Rath Cooney. And then again, my Atelier is coming up with TML, Tosh Merino Light.
Ah, yes. The acronyms.
Yes, TML. TMI, TML.
Yeah, TMI.
And I believe that's it.
Okay.
For that. So then you said you're up next. You already did your tea cozy. You silly woman.
did. So my other up next is something black, because in Nerd Wars, one of our Team Unity projects is the space habitat. So something black, and everybody needs to do that for the Team Unity project. So I have to come up with something black. My daughter really wants another toothless, so my son has a toothless doll. It's a dragon from How to Train Your Dragon. And somebody had a knitting pattern, and I knit that for my son. And she decided that she wanted one, and I said, oh honey, I don't know if I want to do that again. Maybe I can make you a toothless snake. So like just the main body is like a tube snake. And she's like, okay. So I might be making a black toothless body snake. But I did notice that my eyes are too small for I'd have to buy more eyes from Safety Eyes. But I do have smaller cat eyes, so maybe I'll make it out of sock yarn. That would be really interesting, because I made it with worsted before, and he's significantly sized. So I thought, well, maybe if I made him with sock yarn, and I do have jet black sock yarn from the Loopy Solid series, and so I can.
You went to town on that series, didn't you?
I have like 5 colors. It's not that bad.
You've just recently talked about all of them, I guess.
Yeah, because they were Christmas colors, right? And I made some Christmas stuff like a while back, and then I brought it all out again to make more Christmas stuff. And I had once bought some colors that were like Halloween-y, but I haven't used those yet. So the orange and the gray are still in Hank's, and everything else is balled up and being used. So I'm like, well, I have a bunch of that black left. And they're only 50-gram skeins, so I don't know. I'm excited to maybe use that as my black and hopefully get something done for my daughter and get on its way. But I also kind of want to do something that'll take me a day, like the Tea Cozy did. Something, quick and whoop, done. But a lot of the stuff that I really want to knit is big, so there's nothing that fits, so it's going to be specifically made for Nerd Wars, which I'm trying to get away from. But this is the last challenge. I can't not be perfect on this last challenge, because I was perfect in round 1. They haven't done scoring for round 2 yet, so I might have missed some sort of points, but I thought that I did perfect in round 2. Round 3 is going to be harder to be perfect, so I'm not going to try as hard. But if inspiration hits, maybe I'll get there.
All right.
But that was it.
Next, acquisitions and enabling.
I have a ton.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I have this whole bag.
Oh.
Oh, and that's philosophy, which was another thing that I bought recently. But so a lot of my yarn that has been fantasy or fictional yarn came. Yeah. Woo! So I have my Hit by a Farm, and it's Rising Moon Farm. So this is from Catherine Friend and her farm. And
it's a really long skein.
Yeah. It's let's see, almost 4 ounces. It's a worsted weight. She makes socks out of hers, but it's not superwash, so you have to hand wash them and be very careful. But the 2 colors I got, which I wasn't really planning on them going together so well, but they go together so well. I'm thinking of making like a giant monster out of them, like Hugo or something. And I figured that would be squishy and soft, and it would last a lifetime, and I would be reminded of my purchase from their farm, and they're just right up the road in Zumbrota. So it felt good. Felt good to, support their farm and have local, within 50 miles, local yarn from their sheep.
And they dye it as well.
Yep. They blogged about the dyeing process. It was kind of a fun set of pictures. Their dyeing day, where they did all the dyeing. And I don't know. I'm liking it. It's not super duper soft. It's more like a Shetland. But I'm not sure of her sheep varietals. I'm sure it's out there on her blog or her website. But I don't think they have a bunch of Shetland sheep. It's just more, it reminds me of Shetland yarn. But I got those in the mail, and I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
And then the Forever Royal yarn that just seemed to never want to come is here. So here is my sweater's worth in the Observation Hill colorway. And so this is Observation Hill, and the picture she used was of a stone wall and a bunch of greenery behind it, like trees, and there might have been some moss on the side of the wall as well. I'm not terribly sure, but I bought a sweater's worth. I'm hoping that the green will just kind of be flecked and just kind of integrated into the overall fabric. I haven't seen anybody knit with it yet, so I don't know what it's going to look like. But I thought that it was the more consistent of the ones that I liked for a sweater's worth. And I ended up getting a good % off of this because of club. And then if you bought 5 skeins, you got an additional 10% off. So there's that. And I queued up some patterns, and I'm kind of excited to give one of them a go. But not until after Shalom.
But not the hippopotamus.
Yeah, that's right. Wah, wah. But yes, the hippopotamus. No.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
So this one is Hawk Ridge, and these are all for places in Duluth. And she had her inspiration pictures. The picture she used for this of Hawk Ridge was fall foliage and a sky, a really pretty sky in the background. Nice crisp fall day. So you can see that there's oranges and browns and dark greens, and then the sky blue. Really pretty. Mm-hmm. And then the Skyline Parkway has a very interesting view of Duluth from it. If you've ever been up there, it's got the bridge and the water channels, and it's very interesting. So it's just all sorts of inspiration in this one. So it's mainly a gray, and then it's got pink and aqua and green. It's so pretty.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an awesome pair of socks.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do with this one. I'm not quite sure what to do with this one, but I did see somebody started a hitchhiker with it, and I thought that was kind of neat, the way it was working up in pattern there. So again, nobody's started anything with Observation Hill yet. I'm awaiting some of that to happen so that I can take a look at that. And then I got some stuff, same stuff that Megan got, because we're in the Cookie A Sock Club. So if you haven't gotten it yet and you're like Megan and you don't want to be spoiled, please look away. We got a really cute little extra in our package.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, here we go. Woo! So we got a little bag commemorating the sock club. And then inside the bag is Bugga!
Yes.
It is a beautiful color. I love this color.
I do too.
What was it though?
It's a German looking name. Hirschrecki?
It's Bugga, so it's probably a bug. You gotta go look it up. But I love this green. It's so pretty, and then it's got that really pretty wine color in it too. I'm excited about this yarn. I've used Bugga before, but I don't think I've ever kept anything I've used Bugga for. So I'm excited to use it and keep it.
I've never used it, so
it's just a very nice MCN.
And then I'm interested to see the pattern that is going to go with it.
Oh, I know. I'm like chomping at the bit. I think that she said the 20th or something. It's coming late.
Her mother passed away, so my heart goes out to Cookie A.
Yeah, That's just craziness, you know, and to have to be able to jump on a plane to get there,
Yeah.
to be able to say goodbye, it's just hard to imagine.
Yeah.
So we wish her well, and hopefully she doesn't worry about us too much.
Yeah.
We can wait.
Yes, for sure. It'll be almost like a Christmas surprise.
Yes, that's true.
Are you done?
Yes, I mean that's a lot of skeins, but that was 3 packages, and they all came last week. So
Yeah.
and it's not like I even like this was, you know, my
Here, I'll bring out my little matchy bag.
So this was
Oh, and did you? I got a card. Did you get a card?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, and I thought it was
It's
really
an
neat
adorable card.
that she like printed something so that we could reuse the card.
Yeah.
So she just printed the message that would have been on the card, and just put it in there so we could reuse the card.
And it's a cookie with some socks. It's
Yes.
very cute.
Yeah, I think she had very good graphic artists for her advertisements.
Yeah.
All right.
Same with that London. Gosh, and I can't think of it now. The festival gathering in London.
Yeah, you would say
Knit
that.
Nation. Knit Nation?
Yeah.
Yeah, Knit Nation. They had good graphics too.
All right, I'm gonna try to make it quick. We're running out of runway here.
That's cool.
Yeah, so this is the Socks That Rock December colorway. Again, sorry. Oh, we should have done the countdown. I'm so sorry.
You spoiler, you.
Yeah, so the Notorious Sock Knitters, it's Comfort and Joy is the colors.
So pretty and Christmassy.
And pinks, and yes, it definitely reminds me. And then I always love the little skeins. They show off the colors, how they work together. And then
I did.
They had a little extra.
Oh, cute.
With a little tin. So.
Yeah, the little mini skeins, what I did was I bought one of those glass Christmas balls and I stuffed them all in there, and so I have one ornament from the year that I was in it that has all my little minis in it.
Oh, that is cute. And then my inside thing says ribbing. I wonder what that's all about.
And you must got your patterns too.
I did, but I didn't grab them. So they're in the little book. Amy gave me a second skein of Rendezvous a Midnight Rendezvous since I mentioned it last week. So now I have enough to do like a kaleidoscope, fingering weight garment. So, and then she gave me this little necklace that she had tied a piece of yarn around it. I thought it was a Christmas ornament, but nope, it goes on my necklace, and I put this little stitch marker with a ball of yarn. So for all those that
wouldn't bother to read it, it says I knit, I knit, I knit,
I knit. Yeah, over and over and over and over again. Stocking knit.
Yeah.
Knit. And you guys saw my little Pac-Man bag. She got me a little tin with some blue raspberry ghost sours, which sound delicious, but the tin is really cool.
Yeah, that's why I want
I'll put it in the bag, and it'll be like, look at my matchy tin in bag. So, thank you very much. Merry Christmas to me from Amy. Hello. I found a new way to spin the term postal.
Oh yeah, that's right. Going postal.
Going postal is when the postal workers got upset and like started shooting people. But I think that going postal now is when I stalk the postman for packages, because Diane from Knittables was sending me my prize, and she said she packed in something a little extra for you as well.
Ooh.
And it never showed up. So finally I'm like, I gotta message her. I gotta tell her that it hasn't showed up. Did she get a tracking, or, I'm in no hurry if she didn't get it in the mail,
right.
But I'm like freaking out, and I'm like checking underneath things and looking everywhere. And she just messaged me today that it got returned because she put street instead of avenue. Is that not
seriously?
Is that not ridiculous? I'm like,
well, I this town is kind of that way though. We have, if you say 15th or 18th Street, Avenue, Northwest, Southwest, Northeast, South, Northwest, they're all different streets.
I don't know, but coming from a small town in Iowa, they would have just gone, oh, well, we know Megan Williams lives on Avenue, not Street, and delivered it. But instead they returned it to her. I mean, seriously, I mean, I don't even know if our address exists on the street.
Oh, okay.
You know, so why not just go, oh yeah, Megan Williams, she's in the book. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'm kind of going postal. Yeah, I'm checking out the postman every day. And one last thing, I ordered from Spoon Flower some custom stocking knit zombie fabric. I have always wanted
She
to...
surprised me with this.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was doing it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do it because, you know, it's pricey, it's spendy, but and I don't think I would ever find a picture that I'm like, oh, I must have that on fabric enough to justify it. But this is like our brand, right?
Yeah.
So I got enough. I got a yard that Amy and I are gonna make some, or try to make with my expensive sewing machine that my mom bought me, some project bags. So if we do that and do that well,
yeah,
we might be
worthy.
Yeah, we might make one and give one away to the folks. But it was really cool. You could choose, like, this is the half brick, so it almost looks like it's, you know, doing a little diagonal and it offset. And I actually like the green better because I think the black kind of doesn't look as black as it. Anyway, I got that in the mail, and it was really cool. It was a nice little interface, and you could make things bigger and smaller. I think I selected for our logo to be like 2 inches because I didn't want it as big as we had it, and it was really fun and easy to do. So I would recommend Spoonflower to anybody that's interested in having some custom fabric.
I would also recommend it for people who like kitschy things, because if you go out there, people have done their own drawings of Doctor Who and then submitted them for a design, and then have made fabric, and it's public to anyone to order. So if you've designed something and you've put it out there as a design, you can order it. So somebody made their own fabric that's Doctor Who, and it's really cutesy, like renderings of Doctor Who and the TARDIS and whatnot. And you can just go ahead and order. It's really cute. And so there's a lot of little geek fabric factors that are out there. And some people have like just done big, I don't know. I remember them from my childhood where you had like a doll outlined, and you could cut the doll out and then sew around the lines, and then you'd stuff it and you'd have a doll. Well, they have a bunch of those.
And we know how to stuff now, thanks to you.
Yeah, I'm never gonna live this one down, apparently.
But let's wrap it up. I think that's all that we've got. Again, a reminder: join our group, go out and participate in the knit along thread. I get indescribable joy from the messages that I get from folks and the conversations that we have out there, and trying to help people knit their first sweater.
Yeah.
And also go out and sign up, because we want just tons of people out there trying to get that, to have a matching shalom like me. Well, you have to intend to try, you know, life gets in the way, that you hear that a lot, but intend to try to do the knit along with us, and not necessarily do a shalom like Amy and I, although it'd be really cool if you could match us. But we'll do a photo where we're like far apart, and then you can like put your like to the cloud.
Yeah.
The Microsoft.
So then you could like digitally photo yourself in there wearing your shalom, so that we all have the 3 shaloms. That'd be kind of fun.
That would be fun. But again, if you want to do something completely different, like make a hat with it, that's fine as well. But that'll be out there to jumpstart those that possibly were cold sheeping, or just didn't have the stash, or whatever. So I've got lots of bulky to...
And Megan did post a link out there for upsizing.
Yep.
Some upsizing was done, and it's posted. So if you're concerned about the sizing of the shalom as written, there is some upsizing directions that have been posted, or charting, I guess, the numbers, so that you can get the right numbers for cast on increases and whatnot. So,
and we'll draw for that next week. Quick turnaround. So get out there ASAP. So that will be the 20th, right? Because today's the 13th. So we'll be drawing by the 20th. So.
Yep. And Yeah, so yeah, by the time we post this, it's not going to be a huge window. So yeah.
But again, we want to get it out there so you can start the knit-along in January. So.
Okay, I think that's good.
Yep.
Happy knitting.
Bye, Ufta.